if you challenge yourself to like, don't think about anything else. You want to sell prints? Find 5 places online that sell prints and pitch yourself. Send 5 emails. It'll take you maybe an hour, half an hour researching, half an hour sending emails to, hunting down the right person, sending the right email to the right person. Yeah. Don't think about anything else. Don't think about what's the worst they say. No. Just do it. It'll take 1 hour. Sit down and get it done.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast, episode 218. I have my new friend, Justine Milton, on the show, and this is going to be so good. You're going to love this one. Just from that intro that you heard, I'm sure you know this is going to be so good for anyone who's a little neurospicy, a little neurotypical. Also, speaking of neurotypical, just I can't focus because if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that one of my shelves behind me is gone. That's what happens when a 50-pound child tries to pull up on the side of it to see what's up there, and then it falls. Thankfully, no one was injured except my wall. So we'll be fixing that here in the next coming weeks. But yeah, Justine is she's bringing us so much of just like how you can get past that overthinking part before you launch something, before you move into a new genre, before you're doing the things that you've been talking about for years. How to get past that overthinking portion and into the action. And it's great. She drops some gold in here. So I'm just going to get into our conversation. Here we go. Justine Milton. Justine, welcome to the show. I'm excited to chat. I know we met a couple months ago now at the Hybrid Collective. And I was like, I listened to you. We were in Layli Amadi's class and listened to you talking. I was like, I need to get Justine on the show. You got some good stuff to talk about. So I'm excited to get to reconnect here and chat today.
Thank you. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Before we get into a little bit about like where you're based and everything, has there been something in your career that has really changed the way that you look at life or business in general?
Motherhood. Yeah.
Yeah. How so with motherhood?
Okay. I never really valued my time that much before I had kids because I basically had infinite time and I wasted a lot of it. Once I had kids, it was literally like a light switch in my brain, and the whole work smarter, not harder thing really just clicked, and I figured out, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how it has to work. And I started valuing my time. And then I set like strict office hours. I put it in my email signature, which is a little passive aggressive, but people tend to only email me on my office days now.
That's great. Yeah. I am all for adding that in your email signature. It's like, just so you know, these are the hours that I will be getting back to you. I'm not going to be emailing you back at 11 o'clock at night or anything like that when you're emailing me. But yeah, no, I feel you. There are so many times that my wife and I are like, what did we do with all the time that we had? Like, it felt like we didn't have time back then because we were just like doing things and going places, and we were just like, we had so much more time than we do now with 3 kids, and we're just like, baseball season just ended and that took a ton of our time. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you have to work smarter in order to just maintain sanity when you're trying to run a business and parent. But yeah, no, I feel you there.
Yeah, they basically, before I had kids, I would like edit and watch Netflix, and like I would just kind of whatever. And now I have 2 computers that I edit simultaneously on, because let's be real, Lightroom kind of sucks and it's a little slow. And anytime it's lagging and slower than me, I just switch over to the other one and then switch back and then switch to the other one. If I get sick of looking at one, I'm not getting distracted with something else. I edit while I edit because it's faster.
That's great. I love that.
a little
Yeah,
insane.
they're
Okay.
yeah. Oh man, I need to do that because like I give myself a little break. Like whenever I'm going through and editing, and then I like export, a certain section of like a wedding day or something. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna take a couple minutes, and then I'll just like jump on my phone or whatever and start scrolling TikTok, and then it's like 20 minutes have passed. I'm like, oh yeah, it should be. It was done 12 minutes ago. I think we're good. I'm just wasting time now.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I'm basically full-time childcare. We have a nanny come in a couple days a week, and she's only here well, she's here a little longer than 6 hours. But by the time I get away from the kids in the morning and we do breakfast and all that, I work about 5 to 6 hours a few days a week. So
Yeah.
my office hours in a week are about 15 hours, and I have to accomplish absolutely everything I need to within that, or it cuts into my sleep time. So
Yep.
I
Oh
like to work
yeah.
faster
Yeah.
and not get
Same.
distracted. Discipline,
Yeah.
not an easy thing to do because, boy, I want to just sit and play games, lay on my floor and have a nap, do like 18 other things, but nope.
Hmm. Yeah. I have always been like very, very much of the like I need to get stuff done. I need to just like keep working. There's always something else on the to-do list, and burnt myself out really bad in like 2019. And then I started implementing rest every now and then, but I, like we often do, just like the pendulum swung. So then I was just like, anytime that I felt at all overwhelmed or exhausted, I was like, I need rest. I'm gonna go watch a show on Netflix for 2 hours. And like I just started procrastinating everything. And now I feel like I'm like starting to swing back to the middle now, where I know, because I'm about the same. I get like 4 to 5 hours without kids
Mhm.
in the house at least 3 days a week. Although we're going into summer, and that's going to turn into zero. Uh, but yeah, I'm like, I have this amount of hours to get stuff done, and I cannot just go chill and play video games or take a nap or do a lot of the rest time
Mhm.
during my work hours, because I have to actually treat this like I'm going to a 9 to 5 job, because they would not be cool if I was just like, you know what? I've been working for an hour and a half now. I think I'm just going to go take a nap. You cool if I take a nap?
I am the most unemployable human being alive. Because I'm like, I really want to work every day of the week. And I only want to work a few hours and when it suits me, not when it suits you.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, okay. I totally skipped over this. Justine, tell us a little bit about you, what you do, where you're based, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I'm a photographer. I feel like that's obvious, but anyways, I have been shooting now for 14 years, mostly
Nice.
weddings. Still my bread and butter is weddings, but there's a lot of other things that I do now. Um,
Hmm.
I am a mom. That is my main thing, except when I'm at a wedding and my adrenaline's going and I literally forget my kids exist.
Yep.
I am based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, near Banff. For those of you that have no idea, that's like above Montana. It's like, oh, where is that? I mostly shoot my weddings in Banff. Pre-COVID, I had like a really good international thing going, and we did a few weddings in Europe and like every year, and probably like 30% of our weddings in the States and stuff. And that was really great. And then COVID kind of crushed that entire side of my business. And I have been slowly, very slowly and painfully trying to work back into that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
mostly it's Banff, a few here and there outside, but mostly Banff.
Nice. Nice. Do you get a lot of like destination people coming into Banff more
Yeah.
than
So
locals?
my clients, my personal clients are almost like 99% American.
Yeah. 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 Pretty much anyone that I've talked to who's going to like elope or get married or anything in Canada, they're like, "Well, we're looking at Banff," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, of course, yeah, that's the one that everyone knows. That's because that's what Lake Louise is there. Is that right?"
Yeah.
And yeah, just like that photo with the lake back behind and all that, they're just like, I want that, so we're gonna go to Canada, because we don't quite have those scenes here in America all that much. Definitely not here in Texas. It is very flat. We have some hills. that's about it. Yeah, like where we were in Dripping Springs, those are the hills. Um,
Oh.
that's mostly it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like prairies. Okay. It's like one
No,
time we were in North Carolina and we were driving through the Smoky Mountains, and my mom actually stopped to ask. She was like, "Sorry, where are the mountains?" And they're like, "You're in them."
you're in
It's
them.
like, "Oh, this is a foothill." A little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. One of these days, I like most of my Canadian photographer friends are up in the, Alberta area. And like one of these days, I just need to take a trip and just like hang out with everyone and get to visit Canada because I have never been. I've been like almost there, like within, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour of the border in like North Dakota. And that
Mm.
was years and years ago. But yeah, I need to do that. Check that off my list, get up there and just, see some things. Um, but yeah, no, I love that. I love that whole area. I'm very excited to go there. It's on a long list of places to visit. And now that it's a little bit easier to travel, like our kids are a little bit older to where it's easier to leave them for a few days,
Mm.
and not like, okay, so there's still like, here are the bottles, here's the diapers. It's like no one's in bottles or diapers anymore. Feed them whatever food and put them to bed. We're good. But yeah, okay. I feel like I'm just like getting off on a different tangent with kids. But I do want to bring us back to the topic of diversifying our revenue, because this is like a hot topic. A lot of people talk about, you need to, get passive income, which I'm sure we'll get into how not so passive that is. But but like diversifying your revenue, and I think COVID taught us a lot with having everything in one revenue stream. When that one gets blocked up, nothing else comes in. So, like, could you give us a little overview of like why that is so important to diversify your revenue?
Okay, so COVID, what, 2020, 2020? Yeah, 2020 was hands down my
Yeah,
worst year in business since like the year I started or something.
yeah,
But I still managed to hit six figures because and we didn't have a single wedding. Weddings were like illegal until like 2023 in Canada. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
it was not good. But I still managed to do, I mean, not that I needed to do it, but like it was the year I had my first kid. I could have just chilled, but I wanted to do something. And so basically it's like future proofing your business. If one thing goes sideways, the economy changes. Um, there's so many things that can affect specifically weddings or whatever it is that you do. The more eggs in your basket, the less empty it'll be if one of
Hmm.
them breaks. I don't have really great analogies for these things, but
Yeah, that's good. Eggs in your basket. It's Easter was a few months ago. I was watching all the kids just like pick up the eggs, and they were just falling out as they're leaning over to pick up more eggs. So yeah, we need those sturdy baskets holding all the eggs.
yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like I am juggling knives, and if I stop, they all fall on me. So that's not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But other times I'm like, no, this is good because if by chance for whatever reason outside of my control, something fails, something stops, I have like three or four other things that I can turn to and I still have a business.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm thinking of like me 5 or 10 years ago. Just the idea of bringing in another knife to juggle um, is very daunting, and very much like I am so overwhelmed with the keeping one knife in the air right now. How am I going to do two and keep track of that? Are these like different full-time deals, or is it more like kind of automated stuff where you like set up the front end and then it's just kind of like a little machine working on its own?
A bit of both. I mean, I've got there's a lot of things. So I years ago, I ran a little business making little ring dishes and sold them on Etsy and stuff. And then the year I got pregnant, so 2019, I decided I should probably sell that business and like put that energy towards photography. And I could probably do more with it if I just put all my energy into that. And
Uh-huh.
so I sold that business and then was like, all right, let's just focus all of our energy on this. But at the time I was shooting all film. And so I had like no instant satisfaction with my work. I
Oh
had to
yeah.
wait. And this little ring dish thing was like, I make it instant satisfaction. So it kind of like helped with that. I don't know, just the whole creative process of like, okay, this is great. Um, anyway, so I sold that and then I focused on photography. And so now I've got like my own personal weddings, which is like my bread and butter, but
Hmm.
I've got a bunch of other things. So I have an associate team now. We added video, uh, which is great. I've got like a portrait mini session side of the business. I've got a print shop. I've got an online course, and then I sell prints through Pottery Barn, and then I have a couple licensing deals with a couple other companies as well.
Okay. Okay. I love that. I love that like all of that kind of branches off photography. And it's not because I was thinking I knew a few of these that you had talked about before with me and uh, but I was like I don't know there might be like some like I make these like basket weaving things or whatever it's like you got to like switch your brain to a whole different thing. But I love that there's a lot of different streams of revenue that you can do as a photographer. That's not just like okay I got a niche down only weddings, turning away every other kind of work. um, but like you're able to do mini sessions as well and all that.
Well, we have a very distinct off season here. So
Yeah.
most people, me not so much anymore. We usually start in February and end in December. So last December we had 5 weddings. The last one ended on we had 2 weddings on the 31st. And then we started up in February. So we don't have much of an off season anymore, but we used
Hmm.
to, which meant we had a long time to do other things. But I also have like every now and again when I'm like, oh, this is a good idea, I go and get a product manufactured and then sell it, which is also, I don't know why I've done this to myself, but just, so I have like 1,000 styling blocks sitting in my office right now that I haven't managed to list or do anything with. But I have all those like acrylic plastic blocks manufactured for myself. And
Oh
then I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I might as well just manufacture extras and sell them on Etsy. Um, and then I was testing a new concept because when I'm doing flat lays and like styling all the florals, I used to use museum wax to get the flowers to stand up.
Right.
And that just it was taking too long. And so I was like, okay. And then I started using stacks of rings. And I was like, wait a minute. What if I just had like clear acrylic, like donuts basically, but tiny ones for flowers? So then I got a bunch of those manufactured as like proof of concept. They worked really well, pre sold them. Didn't really record everyone's email address that wanted them. So now I have to do it again.
Yeah.
There are pros and cons to my methods. They are not all good. But I also have like this random little product situation on Etsy. So
Yeah. No, that I mean that's cool. That I love those kind of things where it's like, okay, this is a problem that I'm having and it seems like a lot of other people are having this too. And then you solve it. It's like, well, I can also like monetize this. And one, help other people with styling and standing flowers and all of that and make some money on the side because you've already got it manufactured, just throw them on Etsy. And for me, it's always that last step of like I'm doing like I have all of these things. I used to shoot Fuji and I have all these different Fuji lenses and adapters and all of this stuff. I sold my Fuji cameras a year and a half ago and I just have all of this stuff and I am just now throwing that on eBay and selling it because I'm like I need to clear off some shelf space. Like it's that last step of okay, I need to spend the 5 minutes to actually write a description for this, take a picture, put it on eBay. But it is that last step that is always the hardest for me.
I'm still sitting on a bunch of Nikon gear from like many, many, many years ago that I
Yep.
have not finished selling.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay. Glad I'm not the only one.
No, no. And I like debated buying a new Canon camera. Never owned a Canon camera in my life, but I was like, hey, I could buy one. I want
Yeah.
to do raw double exposures and I want a 16 mil lens. So
Hmm.
oh, I could just buy more. And I'm like, wait, sell the Nikon one first. Sell the Nikon.
Yeah. Yeah. I did. I had to, because I wanted to buy a new film camera, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to finally sell that Fuji camera, and then I will allow myself to buy another one.
Mhm.
We all want more time in our life. I mean, think about it. It's one of the best seasoning. I can't imagine a shepherd's pie without some time. What was that? Oh, yeah. No, that makes more sense. Okay. We all want more time in our life. Time is finite, it's a construct. But what if I told you you could create your own time? Not exactly, but pretty close. Since I've been using Imagine AI to edit my photos, I have gotten hours and hours of time back that I would have just been sitting in front of my computer, clicking away, editing all the photos. But now I can use those hours to work on my business, to bring in more leads, or for some leisure time playing Super Mario, trying to beat that one level that I can't. It's those freaking ghosts. They get me every time. Okay, so this is how it works. With Imagine AI, you upload your photos and it reads everything and learns how you took it from the raw files to the edited images. And it will learn to edit just like you. I've already uploaded over 16,000 images, and every single catalog I get back is better than the next. If you want to get your time back and get your first 1,500 images edited for free, go to allheartphoto.com/AI. That's allheartphoto.com/AI and create more time. All right, now I'm hungry. With diversifying our revenue, I know we get into like overthinking mode of just like, I don't know, there's so many options. I mean, you just listed off a handful there, and I'm sure people listening were just like, ooh, prints. Yeah, I could do that. Maybe I could pitch myself to Pottery Barn or Minted or something like that. Um, and or I can start doing some mini sessions, and then you just like get in this cycle of, I have all of these ideas, but I don't know which one to follow. How can we get out of like that overthinking, overcomplicating everything, and just go out there and do it?
Okay, so my brain probably works a little differently than most people's. That being said, most people in the
Okay.
creative space tend to be neurodivergent, so there's a good chance that other people
Yes.
operate this way too.
Yes.
Um, I either have no follow through or like I am single focused and I have no concept of foresight. So that goes along with like ADHD. I thought I had a personality, but turns out I'm just ADHD and I actually have no personality. Every time I learn another thing about ADHD, I'm like, oh no, not me, just ADHD. Cool.
Yep.
So anyways, I have no concept of foresight. I literally have an idea and I'm like, oh cool, I'll just go do it. And there's something with like training your brain to do it as well. Like my
Yeah.
husband is a serial overthinker and he is often my voice of reason, but so many times I'm actually like, please shut up. You are not helping. All you're doing is pissing on my parade. You are
Yep.
making it so much worse. And now I'm like thinking of all these things, or like at hybrid, somebody was like, he said, oh, there's always somebody out there that's like embarrassed for you. And I was like, why would you say that? Why? I never once
Yeah.
thought that. Why would you put that in my head? And now it's in my head forever.
Oh
Um,
no. Yeah.
there's these things where I'm like, I don't think them. They don't cross my mind. And it's a challenge. Like I challenge my husband regularly to live like me for a day. And he drives him nuts. But if you challenge yourself to like, don't think about anything else. You wanna sell prints? Find 5 places online that sell prints and pitch yourself. Send 5 emails. It'll take you maybe an hour, half an hour
Yeah.
researching, half an hour sending emails to, hunting down the right person, sending the right email to the right person.
Yeah.
Don't think about anything else. Don't think about what's the worst they say. No, just
Right.
just do it. It'll take 1 hour. Sit down
Mm-hmm.
and get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's already a no if you don't send that email. It's like they're not going to sell your prints if you don't reach out. And yeah, I am. So it sounds like you and your husband have a very similar dynamic to my wife and I, where she's ADHD. She is like very much like, I want to do this. Let's go ahead and do this. And I am serial overthinker. I am just always in my head, and like that whole someone out there is embarrassed for you or something. That's how I grew up, that I was always thinking of like, what are other people going to think about this? What if I do this and I'm not good at it? Are they going to think I'm a failure and all of that? And like, even like selling prints, I'm like, well, there are other people who have much better prints or live in better places where they have these, gorgeous backdrops, and for me it's just the prairies and hills of Texas, and who's going to want to buy that? And yeah, like getting all that in my head, and it has been a lot to try and train myself, like you uh, have your husband do, just like try and like live in my brain for a day, because I try and do that of like, no, I just like, I want to do this, let's do it. Because the worst thing is it fails and doesn't work out. And then, cool, I'm back at square one where I already am right now. So it's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Yep. I mean, I get a lot of no's and like a lot of no replies. Like when
Yeah.
the year before, I was like, okay, I want some other licensing deals. So I found a ton of companies online and I emailed
Hmm.
almost every single one I could find.
Yeah.
And I think maybe two responded. And I'm signed with both of them now. But the rest of them, oh no, I think I know one other responded and said I wasn't the right fit for what they were looking for. I get a lot of no's and a lot of no
Hmm.
replies. But I emailed probably like 30 companies and I signed two. You know what? Woohoo! I signed two.
Right.
But the only
Yeah.
part that people see is that I signed two. What people don't
Yeah.
know is that I emailed like 30.
Yeah. It's
Amazing.
like people submitting for publications,
Mhm.
and like, you're not going to get 100% of them picked up.
Mhm.
And I think the hardest part for me, because I'm a recovering people pleaser, is like, if someone says no, it's not a personal attack on me. I have to remember it is not a personal attack if they ghost me, if they say no, if they say that we're not a good fit. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I don't like retraining that mindset of, it's a better situation if we don't work together, because if we're not a good fit and then we try and force something, I'm not going to be satisfied, because they're not going to be like promoting my prints, or giving me the publication that I want, and they're not going to be satisfied because I'm not what they're looking for. And like moving on from that and just kind of like cutting losses, and just being like, okay, this is actually a better situation than if we had worked together. And that has been a huge mindset shift that I'm still still currently working through. But yeah, I think that's really great to just like, don't email three people hoping uh, to book one of them or all three. You gotta put a ton of questions out there in order to get a couple of yeses.
Yep. The more you put out, the more you're gonna get back. It's
Yeah.
it's a numbers game, really. But I mean, it works.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I forget what the number was, but I know like Gary V, he talks about like how he had reached out, like he's always in people's DMs, and he had reached out to like, I don't know, like 150 people about working with them. And then one person got back and he was like, great. Now I've got this job and I can work with them like doing marketing and stuff like that. And it was like, but there's 149 no's out there, but it doesn't matter because you have the one yes, and that's what you were looking for. And yeah, it's a whole mindset deal. And yeah, I'm excited to uh, that I'm already on my way to seeing it more like that, and I'm excited for the listeners who are like going to be going to be there also.
Mhm.
Um, is there a couple things that the listeners can do to like move toward uh, figuring out how to diversify their revenue? Like they might have a bunch of different options, or maybe they have no options. They don't know of the options. What can they do to kind of figure out some stuff?
Oof, okay. Well, I mean, I think the first thing is figure out how much time you have to spend on it,
Mm,
because let's be real here, there's no such thing as passive income.
yeah.
Everything requires work, and time.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I can't stress enough. Passive income doesn't exist.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I won't get into analogies and examples, but passive income doesn't exist. You have to put time into all of it. So
Yeah.
figure out how much time you have and how much money you want out of it. Cause like some things return far better profits and way more income than other things. Like my licensing deals and Pottery Barn, not a significant blip on my income scale, really. Yes, they're there. They help. They're a little something, but it's not significant. It's maybe like 5% of my total revenue for the year. It's not
Mm-hmm.
huge. Um, my mini sessions, that's like a way bigger one for me. But figure out how much time you have, how much money you want out of it, and then figure out, okay, what's your skill set? What do you have on hand that you can leverage or sell or whatever? I think figuring out those things. And then, I mean, if you need ideas, please, you can DM me. I will give you like 10 ideas. I'm shockingly good at ideas, not so good at follow through, but really good at ideas. That's really my thing. Honestly, I have too many ideas. And that's part of my problem sometimes is I have a lot of ideas. And then I basically just like pick one that is the
Mm-hmm.
easiest one to follow through on. So I'm like, okay, researching print companies and sending emails. That seems really easy. I can do that versus my 80 other ideas that are like significantly less easy. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. Even like making a list of like, okay, these are ideas. I'm just going to brainstorm, just, word vomit down onto a piece of paper and just like, here's what I have. Which of these would have the potential of bringing in a good amount of revenue? And which of these are pretty easy, like first steps getting into it? And then just picking the ones that are like the easiest and also bring in a good amount of income and that you have the time to, like you were saying. Because yeah, there are a lot of things that I want to do, but I'm like, I don't have the time. Like I have been talking about creating this course for 2 years now, and like I even have the outline and everything all set, but I'm like, this is going to take so much time to record it and put it together and make slides and all of that, and I am very busy with other things. So eventually I will have the time where I can like do that in chunks, I think. uh,
okay, so when I made my online course, I
uh-huh.
called up a couple people in the industry and I was like, that are like, mentors. And I was like, hey, like, I want to pay you, be my mentor, teach me how to do this. I said, this is my concept and I want to launch it in May. This was maybe January, February. And the one big name was like, first of all, you can't charge that much for it. And I was like, well, all the competing ones are that much, but okay. And then she was like, and you can't do it in 3 months. That'll never happen. And I said, okay, thank you very much. Goodbye. And I did it in 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And I launched it, filmed the entire course and launched it and did all the things because I was like, you know what? You might not be able to do it in 3 months, but I sure as hell can. And I'll figure it out without you then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and maybe you can't sell it at this amount, but I can.
I mean,
Yeah.
it worked, but
Yeah.
but that was like, I was determined I was going to do it. And I mean, I didn't really make like that much of a plan. I just started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. See, just from this conversation, I'm like, I can see how I am still in the overthinking stage
mm,
of this course because I'm like, oh, it's going to take this much time, and I have to record this, and yeah, just need to get to yeah, just go ahead and do it. And maybe it's not the most polished whenever it's out there, but you can always re-record,
better done than
put
perfect.
out, yeah, better done than perfect. And I could put out a version 2 in a couple years or something.
Oh, I would
So
change
okay.
everything about my course if I could.
Yeah.
Everything. I would refilm the entire thing. I would change everything. But you know what? The information is still good. Just because I don't like how it looks,
Hmm.
that doesn't change the quality of the information people are getting. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to refilm it.
Yeah.
Not right now, anyways. It's fine. But I
Yeah.
mean, block out like 2 days in your calendar and just get it done.
Just go for it.
That's it.
Okay, cool. Justine, thank you. I'm gonna do that now. I will let you know whenever it's out.
Very excited to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. I love that. Like that is what I hope for the listeners to get, of just like get past all the barriers that you're putting in front of yourself of, well, I can't do this because it's going to do this, or because it's going to take this much time, and just get out there and do it. And believe in the done is better than perfect. We say that a lot, but I don't think a lot of us believe in it. I say it a lot, and I still find myself being like, well, I can't do this yet because it's not how I want it to be. It's that recovering perfectionist in me. Need to, still working to get through that. So, but yeah, I love all of that. Any last tips or word for the listeners today, in diversifying their revenue without getting stuck in that overthinking and throwing all the barriers in front of themselves?
I think if you just start, it's easier to keep going. Even if it's like researching the company, sending an email,
Yeah,
just start filming. It doesn't matter if you
yeah,
have a perfect laid out plan or a perfect anything, just start filming. I think
yeah,
whatever you want to do, literally just start. As soon as you start, it'll like start to flow and start to feel so much better. And then you'll be like, wow, why did I not do this sooner? Why didn't I just start?
yeah.
Challenge yourself once a month to just start something new. Try it.
Okay, I love that. It's like whenever we started photography. It's you could definitely look at other people who are established and say my work is not as good as theirs, because yes, that is true, because you haven't done it yet. But yeah, if you didn't actually pick up the camera and get started, then you would never have a photography business. You would never be working with people and getting this fulfillment. Like, I know for me, I get so much fulfillment through working with people and through my camera, that if I had never picked it up, if I had just been like, you know what, I don't know, I don't think I'm good enough, or just never taken that step to go do it, never would have happened. So yeah, uh, great tip. Just go do it. Get started. Try something new, and yeah, it'll all come. So awesome, Justine. This has been so good. I feel like this was like good for me. Uh, this whole conversation. So thank you. I'll send you a tip on Venmo or something. But
We don't have Venmo.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Weird
Something. Yeah. I'll
place.
mail you a check. I don't know. Uh, but yeah. Before we get into like where people can connect with you and follow you and all that online, there's part of the show that I like to do where we talk about what we're loving this week, and it could be a new book, TV show, movie, whatever. What are you loving this week?
Cotton candy grapes.
They're so good.
They
They're
are
just
they are like a drug.
they are.
They're so good. I
Yeah.
went to Costco one day and I posted on Instagram. My friend was like, "This is the biggest flex ever. You spent $60 on grapes," and I was like, "I didn't think about it until you said it, but yeah, I
Yeah.
did."
And they're gone so quick too, because they're so good.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We went to Costco 3 days ago and bought a huge thing of cotton candy grapes, because we would normally get like the big, whatever normal grapes for like $8 or
yeah,
something. And I was like, I wanna treat ourselves and get these cotton candy ones. And then they were just gone.
it's a
Like,
straight up addiction at this point
yeah.
in my house.
Oh yeah. No, it is. Oh, I need to add that to our list because I'm going to Costco again today.
And
Uh,
like the amount
so
of like satisfaction I get where like I'll eat a chip in between each grape so that each one is like super cotton candy flavored. Because if you just eat a bunch in a row, they just start to taste like grapes. But if you eat a salty
mhm.
in between each one, it's like just I would be either the worst or the best addicted drug person. Drug addict, there we go, ever. Just the best way to maximize my enjoyment out of these grapes.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh man, those are so good. Uh, I really like those, and I'm gonna have to get some more. Uh, okay, I love that. Let's see. This week I'm loving. Um, I I'm loving. I got an old video game. Every now and then, whenever I get like tips from a wedding or something, I'll just take like half of it and just like buy stuff that I wouldn't normally buy for myself. Just like splurge, get this thing. And part of one recently was I have been I have an old Nintendo 64 game console, and I loved the GoldenEye 007 game when I was a kid. I was like, I want to get that, but it's always like $25 or something because it's one that everyone wants. And I finally just did it and bought it on eBay, and it came in like a week or two ago, and I've been playing that, and the nostalgia is great. I love it. I'm not good at it. Not like I thought I would be. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fine. I'm gonna get right back into this, know exactly what I'm doing. I'm just running into walls and getting shot at all the time, but it's fun. It
That's
brings me
fun.
back to childhood. So
That's fun.
yeah, that's
So
what
if
I'm
you want
loving
to
right
try
now.
that, use that as a reward. You can't use it again until you film your first module of your online course. And then you
Oh, okay. Now we got to do this quickly. Okay,
rewards. It
awesome.
works really well for me too.
It really does. Yeah, that was a big thing. My parents did that. I was homeschooled. They did that when we were going through school. Of like, if you can get to this part of the curriculum by Friday, then next Tuesday we will go to an amusement park that was like couple hours down the road, but we had season passes, and being homeschooled, we could go on a Tuesday, and everyone else is in school, and we would have just be able to ride the rides over and over again. So that like external motivation was like, yes, I'm going to get this done. So yeah, I need to set up something. It may be Goldeneye, it may be Cotton Candy Grapes, but yeah, I'm gonna withhold something until I can get this first module recorded. So cool. Thanks, Justine. This is
You're
great.
welcome.
I
Thank you.
feel motivation to get stuff done. Where can people contact you, follow along, chat, all that?
You can find me at Milton Photo on Instagram. I'm straight up addicted to it. That's pretty much where I spend too much time. Beyond that, my website's justinemilton.com. My email's on every single page of my website. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help. And yeah, that's about it. I don't use a
Awesome.
lot of social media, just Instagram a lot.
Yeah, same. I know I am like very much quintessential millennial of just like I love Instagram. It's fun. I enjoy it. I have lots of connections there, and just like going through people's stories all the time, and just, oh yeah, y'all are doing that too. You're eating cotton candy grapes today. Me too.
I tried TikTok, but I have no concept of self-control, so it didn't go well for me.
Yeah, yeah. Same. I'm still figuring that all out. But yeah, I will have links for all that, so people can reach out and DM and say hey and all that. But yeah, Justine, thanks so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Thanks, John.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast. As always, you can check out all the things in the show notes at podcast.allheartphoto.com. You can follow us on Instagram. We're at wit.pod, witt.pod. You can follow Justine at Milton Photo. All of this is linked in the show notes as well, and in the YouTube description if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I took so many notes, obviously, because she was kind of like coaching me there toward the end. I was like, okay, Justine, I'm going to do this. And I am working toward that already. We recorded this about a month ago, 5 weeks or so. So making steps. But yeah, thanks for listening again. If you have any guests that you would love to hear from, if you have any topics you would love for us to cover, reach out, shoot me a DM on Instagram. That would be a great place to do that. And subscribe to the show so you don't miss another episode. Next episode, I have Melissa Rich coming on the show. We're talking about common misconceptions with systems and workflows. Really, really good. She gives us some good strategy and just kind of like even like lining out some workflows for us to go through to implement. It is a lot easier than you think it would be. But yeah, tune in next time for Melissa, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all. I don't know why I waved. Bye. I'll see you later. Hey, hey.